Thank you all for tuning in to WJC LP 98.3 FM. My name is Jeff Badu, and I'm a parallel entrepreneur and a wealth multiplier. I'm the founder and CEO of Badu Enterprises, LLC, which is a multinational conglomerate in the finance industry. So what we do is we provide a suite of financial services, including our marquee company, which is Badu Tax Services. And also we have Badu Investments, and then also we do things like credit repair, property tax appeals, and also financial coaching. So with that, today we'll be talking about some free money for small businesses, right? That's what I titled this presentation, just because there's a lot of money out there right now for business owners in the form of PPP, Paycheck Protection Program loans. It is called a loan, but it's essentially a fully forgivable loan, meaning that you don't have to pay it back, which effectively makes it free money. It doesn't come freer than that, right? The deadline to apply is March 31st. So some people have heard March 9th, tomorrow. That's actually not true. It's March 31st. That's the actual deadline to apply for the PPP loans. And there's actually more money on the way thanks to the passing of the Stimulus Package 3, which, by the way, will be hosting a webinar on that through the Badu Tax Services firm on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central. So with that, let's start off with the market report, though. This report is as of March 5th, 2021, so last Friday. Stocks rebounded in a big way last Monday. Investors may be picking low-hanging fruit following the prior week's depressed values, or they may have regained confidence in the market despite higher treasury yields. In any case, essentially the benchmark indexes posted notable gains. So you had the S&P 500 go up 2.4%, the Dow go up 2%, Russell 2000 went up 3.4%. NASDAQ, which is composed mainly of technology stocks, actually went ahead and went up 3%. Then last but not least, the global Dow also went up 1.6%. The market sectors essentially enjoyed a resurgence as well, with information technology, or IT for short, and financials each climbing more than 3%. Monday's profit-taking market surge was short-lived. So Monday was high, Tuesday, unfortunately, was low. Stocks plummeted last Tuesday. Tech shares led the losses, pulling the NASDAQ down 1.7%. The Russell 2000 was down 1.9%. And then the S&P 500 dropped 0.8%. By the way, the S&P 500 is composed of the top 500 companies in the U.S. So with that, let's see what else happened. The Dow also lost 0.5%, and then the global Dow lost 0.1%. Treasury yields fell as prices climbed on increased demand. Crude oil prices also plunged, and the dollar inched lower. Only materials posted a gain among the sectors, while information technology went down 1.6%. And then also consumer discretionary went down 1.3%. All right. So with that, last Wednesday, so let's talk about Wednesday. Tuesday was a bad day in the market. Let's talk about last Wednesday. It marked another rough day for equities. The NASDAQ dropped 2.7%, sinking to a 2-month low. The yield on a 10-year Treasury jumped 6 basis points to 1.47%. As investors may be retreating from stocks perceived as overvalued. I mean, like, they finally got it, right? They finally understand that stock prices are overvalued. I mean, it took them this long to finally realize it. A lot of the things that go on in the stock market, if you really think about it, is not a whole lot of sense being used. I don't like to use the word common sense because sense isn't so common nowadays. So not a whole lot of sense being used in these decisions and these prices. It's all based off emotion, right? So you can take advantage in a good way, of course, because you understand logic, they understand more emotion, or they make decisions based off their emotions. They buy on good days, and then they sell on bad days, which is crazy. They buy on good days, they sell on bad days. It's supposed to be the opposite. You sell on good days, you buy on bad days. There's no logic in the stock market sometimes. Why should you be invested, though? Is because you can take advantage of the gains, right? Capture your gains and move on with your day. All right, so the global Dow, actually the S&P 500 went down 1.3%, while the Russell 2000 went down 1.1%, and the Dow went down 0.4%. All right, the global Dow picked up 0.6%. Crude oil prices reversed course from past few days, surging to over $61 per barrel. The dollar also gained. Right, among the sectors, energy and financials advanced, information technology and consumer discretionary each lost more than 2.4%. All right, so let's see what happened last Thursday. Our good old friend, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, did not offer any consolation or planned intervention relative to the volatility in both the equity and bond markets, which may be a good thing. Investors fearing overinflated stock values, which the stock market is pretty high, right? Overinflated stock values and potential inflationary pressures sold equity. So they felt the pressure. They said, you know what? We feel that stock prices are too high. So we're just going to sell, and then maybe 2 days from now we'll buy again. There's no logic. There's no sense being utilized in here. So just something to keep in mind. As a stock market investor, don't buy off emotions. Don't buy and sell off emotions, right? Buy based on logic and factual information. All right, so let's see what else happened. The Russell 2000 let the dive, falling 2.8%, followed by the Nasdaq 2.1%. S&P 500 went down 1.3%. The global Dow went down 1.3%, and then the Dow went down 1.1%. The yield on 10-year treasuries passed, they passed 1.5% as bond prices plunged. Crude oil prices rose past $64 per barrel on word that oil production nations had no intention of increasing output. The dollar advanced against the production the dollar advanced against a basket of currencies. All right, among the sectors, energy vaulted up 2.5%. Communication services went up less than 1.1%. And then everything else pretty much went down. Let's see what happened last Friday. Hopefully we rebounded. Stocks rebounded last Friday, largely driven by dip buyers. So basically day traders. Although a favorable jobs report certainly helped. Nevertheless, even the benchmark indexes posted solid gains, with the Russell 2000 leading the way after climbing 2.1%, followed by the S&P 500 at 2%, the Dow at 1.9%, the Nasdaq at 1.6%, and then the global Dow at 0.5%. All right. So basically, the stock market is all about supply and demand, right? When supply is high, when there's more of something, the price naturally goes down. When supply is low, when there's less of something, the price goes up. When demand goes high, people want more of something, naturally the price needs to go up. When demand is low, people want less of something, the price needs to go down. It's simple economics. It doesn't get any simpler than this to understand conceptually. That's what happens in the stock market. People sell, prices go down. Right? People buy, prices go up. Right now, there's a bunch of people buying stocks. That's why the prices are so high. Some of it does have to do with the fact that companies are actually doing well. However, it's really more about supply and demand. So just logically keep that in your mind. Why is the stock market going up? You can easily tell just by reading the news whether the stock market is up or down, just by seeing, hey, more stimulus checks have been released. Well, more people have more money to buy stocks. Demand is high. It's all logic. It's not common sense, right? Because the word common needs to be taken out of that phrase. But it's sensible information. All right. So let's see here. Investors looking for low-hanging values drove stocks higher last Monday and Friday, enough to push a few of the indexes into the black by the end of the week. Posting weekly gains were the Dow, the global Dow, and the good old beloved S&P 500. The Nasdaq and the Russell 2000 could not recover from midweek sell-offs, ending the week in the red. Treasury yields continue to surge, driven by concerns that the inflationary pressures are about to rise, right? People are afraid that prices are going to go up, which kind of makes sense. All right. So crude oil prices. Let's see where we were. Crude oil prices advanced past $66 per barrel and have risen nearly 37% this year. By comparison, crude oil prices were $45.90 this date last year. So oil prices have just gone through the roof, and they've just shot up, essentially. All right, so the dollar continued to climb, and then the rest is pretty much not so important. All right, so the Dow Jones so far this year is up 2.91%. The Nasdaq, wow, composed mainly of tech stocks, technology, is only up 0.25%. S&P 500 is up 2.29%. The Russell 2000 is up 11.01%. Global Dow is up 7.01%. Interest rates are at a dead 0%, and then the 10-year treasuries are at 1.55%. What to look for this week? Inflation indicators are in the news this week with the February release of the Consumer Price Index, CPI for short, and the Producer Price Index. So basically, these are two determinants of inflation. All right, the CPI advanced 0.3% in January and was up 1.4% year over year. Producer prices surged in January, climbing 1.3% for the month, and were up 1.7% over the past 12 months, ended in January. All right, so let's talk about more money for small businesses. PPP loans, Paycheck Protection Program. Thanks to COVID-19, more money has been released in the world. We now have 3 stimulus packages. The first one was $2 trillion, and that was the CARES Act. That was passed in March of 2020. So $2 trillion, which released programs such as the Paycheck Protection Program, PPP, Economic Injury Disaster Loan, EIDL. And then you also have the stimulus checks, the $1,200 stimulus checks. You had unemployment, the $600 pandemic unemployment. You also had quite a few other things, rental assistance. And then there were quite a few more things, COVID vaccines and all that good stuff. And then the second stimulus package passed while I was on vacation last year in December of 2020. And that was a $900 billion package. And that put more money into the PPP loans. And also, our topic today, it also allowed you to go back and apply for PPP 1 and PPP 2, Paycheck Protection Program. What is the Paycheck Protection Program? The PPP, that's the short, that's the buzzword for the Paycheck Protection Program, is a fully 100% forgivable loan for small business owners, including sole proprietors, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, right, dog walkers, stand in the line for people. Let's see, what else? Hair braiders, barbers, hair salon, accountants, attorneys. Basically, any small business that actually filed their taxes on their 2019 tax return qualified for the PPP. Now, if you're an S corporation or a C corporation and partnership, you also could qualify. For the corporations, you need to have W-2 payroll. This is where the small businesses, I say, make sure you're doing things the right way, because if you don't, then they won't give you any of the money. So some small businesses came to find out that they need to run W-2 payroll if they're an S corporation or a C corporation. If you're like most small businesses in America, where you're a sole proprietor, a Schedule C, LLC, single member LLC, well, now you can use basically your gross income, right? Gross income to determine your PPP loan amount. So at first, the PPP, to get the calculation, it was your net profit on your Schedule C, which is line 31 of the Schedule C from 2019, divided by 12 to get the average monthly payroll, quote unquote payroll, and you multiply it by 2.5. So if you take $1,000 net profit, you divide it by 12, or let's make it simpler. A $12,000 net profit divided by 12, which is $1,000 per month, times 2.5 is $2,500. By the way, you don't have to pay this money back because you just apply for forgiveness. You submit your one-page application to the bank, and then they forgive the loan. And by the way, you can get this not once, not twice, but in the third round, you could potentially get it a third time with the stimulus package 3 that just got passed. So now, with the new rules for my Schedule C, my Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, dog walkers, stand in the line for people, wash cars, wash dogs, whatever you do. Nowadays, you can turn anything into a hustle. You can basically take your gross revenue, line 1 of your Schedule C, divided by 12, and multiply it by 2.5. The maximum loan amount is $20,833. By the way, it's called a loan, a Paycheck Protection Program loan, but the money gets fully forgiven after about 24 weeks of spending the money. As a Schedule C sole proprietor, you can spend the money on anything basically, because technically there's automatic forgiveness once you submit your forgiveness application. You just need the Schedule C. If you don't have a Schedule C, you might want to come see me, because we can help you file your Schedule C, file your taxes. Hopefully you did file your Schedule C, because if you didn't, well, why didn't you file your Schedule C? Did you just not know? Were you ignorant and just trying to evade taxes illegally, right? Or you just were scared. I don't know. I don't know what it was. But when you have a small business, especially in America, you should be filing your taxes every single year. If you're a sole proprietor, you utilize what's called a Schedule C form. And that goes on your 1040 individual income tax return, so that you can file your taxes. You can report how much income, how much expenses you had for the business. So if you're not doing things legitimately, you're missing out on all this government cheese for free. You're talking not once, not twice, but potentially 3 times, right? You can earn up to $20,833 3 times in a row. No scam, no gimmicks, none of that. By the way, if you need somebody to help you with the PPP loan application, feel free to reach out. Send us an email. Send us an inquiry at badutaxservices.com. Once again, that's badutaxservices.com. BADUTAXSERVICES. badutaxservices.com. We're more than happy to help you out. We've partnered with the bank that actually has approved the most PPP loans in the second stimulus round or stimulus package. And no, it is not a JP Morgan Chase. No, it is not a Bank of America. No, it is not a Citibank or anything like that. This is a privately owned bank that's just sitting in the corner, just processing and accepting PPP loans. And we have a very strong relationship with them. We've processed about 50 applications so far this year for our clients, for a total of about $500,000 in money that's been funded to small businesses. And we're hoping to get more small businesses funded. We do have a flat rate for assisting you with the application, so feel free to reach out and see me after the talk today. By the way, this is recorded, so you can feel free to replay it at any time. We're live on Facebook, live on Instagram, and then we're also live on WGHC LP 98.3 FM. Feel free to check us out, right? Check out my YouTube channel, which is at Jeff Badu. And then also feel free to check me out on social media, right? Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And so with that, and then also I would like to mention my personal website, which is jeffbadu.com. Feel free to check that site out too. And that has tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of resources. That's jeffbadu.com, 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 jeffbadu.com. That's where you get all the resources, right? That's where you get the infinite resources, essentially. So free money, small businesses. Anybody wants some free money? Feel free to post a comment. You want some free money, right? Reach out to us. Website is badutaxservices.com, and then the email address is support@badutaxservices.com. Shoot us a message. It might take us within 24 hours or so, but we'll definitely get to your inquiry, no problem. And remember, the deadline for the PPP is March 31st. It will most likely get extended because they still have a lot of money left. They just got the vault open right now, and so please take advantage. This is not a scam, a gimmick, none of that. This is real money. This is real life. So please make sure you take advantage. Don't let this money go to the wrong folks. They're actually putting out this money for small businesses. Right, and then somebody asked a question, what are the implications this has on the future tax returns? It has zero implications on future tax returns. I wouldn't be thinking about that. I would be thinking about, hey, where can I apply? So it has zero implications. It's tax-free money, if that was the question. So it is fully tax-free money. You don't have to pay it back. You don't have to pay taxes on it. You can deduct whatever you can deduct the expenses of whatever you spent the money on. I mean, it gets no better than this right here. It gets absolutely no better than this. So to get the calculation is real simple. You can do this exercise right now. All right, pull out your 2019 Schedule C. If you don't have a Schedule C, remember, you need to come see me. So pull out your 2019 tax return if you're a business owner, Uber driver, Lyft driver, right? Look at line 1, not line 31. Line 1, the gross revenue amount. Divide that by 12 and multiply it by 2.5. That's your fully forgivable loan amount. The maximum, though, is $20,833. There is a cap of the loan amount. So let's just say your gross revenue, let's say you're an Uber driver and you made $12,000 last year in income. Right? Uber paid you $12,000. You take that number, you divide it by 12, which is $1,000, right? Multiply it by 2.5, that's $2,500. It's very, very simple calculation. You must, I repeat, you must have a 2019 tax return that has a Schedule C if you're a sole proprietor. If you're an S corporation or C corporation, you must use W-2 payroll. And if you're not an S corp or C corp, you don't need to worry about W-2 payroll. No, the deadline is not tomorrow. Right? The deadline is March 31st to apply. So you still got a little bit of time. You need to act fast. Right? You do need to act fast, but you do have some time. So I encourage you to act now, right? Not later, not when you're about to go to bed, then you start reading. No, it's you need to act now because the money is here now, right? As a matter of fact, we did a webinar to about 1,000 business owners, right? We invited 1,000, 300 showed up naturally, right? And out of those 300, about 200 reached out. They took action. They reached out. In the past, when they were using the line 31, only about 50 of these business owners, so 25%, actually qualified. Well, now, basically 90% of them qualify for the PPP. That's how much of an impact this has had with this change in calculation. Congress said, we need to do something for the small businesses. So let's increase the PPP loan amounts of these small businesses. So why aren't you taking advantage? Yeah, we've been getting some phone calls to the office, right? But I feel like we haven't gotten enough. And yes, we will respond to everybody. Trust me, right? We definitely are in tax season right now. And we just got a third stimulus package pushed on us, which is fine. And by the way, they will most likely extend the tax season, but they have not announced it yet. So the deadline is still April 15th to file your individual tax return. And if you're a C corporation, the same deadline applies to you as well. If you're an S corporation or partnership, well, you don't have much time because your deadline is next Monday. Our firm, our deadline is this Friday to submit S corp and partnership tax returns. So with that, I encourage you, if you're a small business owner, whether you walk dogs, whether you drive Uber, whether you drive Lyft, whether you stand in line for people, whether you fix phones for somebody, whether you knit clothes, exotic dancer, whatever it is, right? If you got a 2019 Schedule C on your tax return, you qualify for up to $20,833 once, and then another $20,833 twice, and then potentially another $20,833 three times. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, you qualify. It doesn't matter. But the key is report your income, right? Report your expenses. Do whatever you got to do. We got a question here. I started my LLC in late 2020. Ooh-wee. Have no employees. Could I really be approved for a PPP? So one thing to keep in mind is the details. You need to have a 2019 Schedule C, not 2020, 2019. So as long as you got a 2019 Schedule C, you qualify. A 2020 Schedule C, where you don't have a 2019 Schedule C, you don't qualify, unfortunately. You must have that 2019 Schedule C if you're a small business owner, you're self-employed, Uber driver, Lyft driver, right? Whatever it is. So if a business was formed in 2020, unfortunately not. Unless you're an S corporation. Unless you're an S corporation and you ran W-2 payroll and your business was formed before February 15th, 2020. And by the way, there's other programs out there too, namely the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. Right? Don't let the word loan fool you, by the way. EIDL for short, which provides up to a $10,000 tax-free, non-payable grant, which will soon go up to $15,000 as part of the third stimulus package. And you get a loan, 30-year loan, no payments due for a whole year, 3.75% interest rate. You get a loan of up to 50% of your gross revenue in 2019. So if you made $200,000 in revenue and your business took a hit, well, you qualify for a $100,000 loan. No payments due for an entire year. 30-year loan. They're just handing the money to people. And I think this will most likely get forgiven, by the way, so that you can just erase the word loan from it. It hasn't happened yet, but this is what I predict will happen. Right? They want to give you the money. They want to give you the money. They want to hand you the money. But you need to be compliant. To get government cheese, you must be compliant with the government. That's the key. If you owe back taxes, you haven't filed taxes in 10 years and all that, this is not for you. This is definitely not for you. Because how can the government give money to you if you don't even know how to handle it, right? You don't even want to be compliant. You don't want to report your income. You always want to do things under the table. You're always collecting cash, and that's it. Right? You don't qualify for any of this stuff because you're not compliant. You're not doing things legit. You're not a legitimate business owner. Right, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, keep in mind, in the third stimulus package, they might change the rules and say, hey, a 2020 business, you were just starting in 2020. I mean, technically, the pandemic happened in 2020, right? So let's say, okay, you were formed in 2020. Well, here's some PPP money for you. Here's some EIDL. So they might change the rules in the third round of stimulus, which just got passed last week. And I believe they might have, I haven't gotten a notification yet, but they're supposed to sign, basically the president is supposed to sign this thing into law, I believe by tomorrow, the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. Remember, we're doing a webinar at our firm on Wednesday from 7 to 8 p.m. And we're just talking about the details of the stimulus package. So we're gonna break down the third stimulus package for you, so that you can see some of the things that are involved or some of the things that are a part of it. So today we'll cut it pretty short. We won't go too long on the content or the information. I just wanted you to understand that it's free money. They're handing out the money. They're saying, here you go. You're a business owner. You filed your 2019 taxes legitimately. You got a Schedule C. Here you go. Here's your reward. Here's your money. And by the way, some people think you need to have a 25% or more revenue drop for PPP 1. That's not true. You don't need to prove a 25% or more revenue drop for PPP 1. You do for PPP 2. And remember, in the second stimulus package, it put more money into PPP 1 and released PPP 2. So there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of just crazy. I mean, I've gotten some of the weirdest questions today. Like, hey, I heard PPP is due tomorrow. I'm like, it's not due tomorrow. It's due March 31st. Like, hey, I heard you can only use net income to determine PPP. Well, the rules just changed a few weeks ago. Now you can use gross income as a Schedule C. Right? Or, hey, I'm not incorporated. I don't have an LLC. I don't qualify. Somebody told me that. I mean, that's just bad advice. You got to come to the source. So if you're an Uber driver, Lyft driver, dog walker, whatever it is, you do backflips and you make money off that. Whatever it is, you can get PPP as long as you got a 2019 Schedule C. And if you don't have a Schedule C, then you should come see me. So with that being said, I won't long-wind it too much. Definitely appreciate you guys for tuning in. I hope you gained some value. Hopefully I just put $20,000 into your bank account. Soon to be $20,000. Remember, if you do need help with the application or you just have questions, shoot us a message at support@BaduTaxServices.com. Once again, support@BaduTaxServices.com. Check out our website at BaduTaxServices.com. We are submitting applications for our clients. We do assist with applying. Right? So we are actually helping out. And then if you want the website with the resources, the infinite resources, check out jeffbadu.com, JEFFBADU.com. Just check out the site. You'll be surprised to see what you'll find out. And we also just updated some of our affiliate links, by the way, on the Badu Enterprises.com website. So we have new affiliates. We have new folks that are looking for us to market some of their services, their financial services. So that's something that we do as well. Right? If you need a product or service, you go to BaduEnterprises.com. You never know. You might find something useful. So with that being said, looks like we're at basically at 7:45. So I'll cut it short. There wasn't, as you can see, there's not too much content. I just wanted to repeat myself We had 3 webinars last week on the same topic, and we're having one today. We're having one tomorrow. Check us out on Clubhouse. Shout out to Eugene Marshall, aka Gene, the real estate guy. And then also, we're probably gonna do one more, and then we're done after that. We're not doing any more webinars after that, because we would have put out the information 6 times for you. We're trying to drill it in your heads that you can get this money. It's easy money, right? It's easy money. Easy money. So if you don't think you qualify, just shoot us a message anyway. And you can DM me if you want. Facebook, Instagram, right? Shoot me a DM. It's free money. It don't come any freer than this. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in to WGHC LP 98.3 FM. My name is Chef Badu, and I look forward to continuously delivering you all some content. Thank you.